Hi, this is Mary Lassiter, and we're going to talk about volume for Murfreesboro City Schools or any other schools that are using the standards for Tennessee standards. One of the things when we start talking about volume is I always suggest bring things in from the real world. You know, the right rectangular prisms that we have to learn about. So we've got, the length and the width and the height with these. So bring in lots of different things, Kleenex boxes, cereal boxes, so that they see these right rectangular prisms that we're going to be talking about. Okay, in our standards, we can use lots of different things to build these right rectangular prisms. You can use things like Unifix cubes. The only thing about these is they stick together, and you'll see the problem for that just a little bit later on. You can also do the snap cubes, link cubes, but again, they stick together. Another option, you can use the little unit cubes from your base 10 blocks. The thing that's hard about that is with the kids, they're very light and they're hard to manage. So they have to have great fine motor skills in order to do that. My favorite is I love to use the wooden cubes. And I bag these wooden cubes, 40 to a bag, so I needed like 1,000 for a class set. At least 2 teachers, maybe 3, could share a class set and just rotate when you're using them. Now this is a unit cube, okay? It's just a maple wooden cube, and they're real easy to manage. You know, they don't fall over easy. They can stack them. They're a little bit bigger than your other cubes, and they don't stick together. And I love that because when we're decomposing, it's really hard if they stick together. All right, now let's look at a task that you have in your pacing guide, okay? First thing you could talk to your kids about is build a rectangular prism that is 2 cubes high, 3 cubes wide, and 5 cubes long. How many cubic units? How many cubic units? So I'm going to start with the base, and you can talk about all these different things according to where you are, what your kids know. I'm going to build, it's 3 wide, 1, 2, 3. It's 5 long, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but it's supposed to be 2 high. So I'm going to build a second layer, and notice how I can just take that layer and voila, there we go. All right, now let's look at it and decompose this and think about how the kids can think about how many cubes are in here. Now, of course, they could count them, but we really want them to multiply. They could look at the base. Okay, the base is a 3 by 5. So how many would be on the base? Okay, 15. But if I have 2 layers, that's going to be 15 and 15. It'd be 30. I could also say, when we're doing this, I've got my 2 times my 3 times my 5. Well, a lot of times I think, oh, I'd love to do 2 times 5 because it gives me a 10. And then times my 3, 10 times 3 gives me my 30. That would be one thing. You could charge the kids with and ask them, how many different expressions can you make? And again, this is associative property that they should know from 3rd grade. And so look at all the different expressions that the children could have using these cubes, a 2 by 3 by 5, all these different ones, okay? Now, another thing you can do as you're building, and I suggest you do this, is keep a chart so that they've got the length and the width and the height, and when you're building different things. And there'll be so many things you can build with these cubes, all right? Another thing I like to do is I like to be able to build a different, some different things like breaking apart solids, like in your pacing guide. It's also there. So if you're building different things, let's build something just for an example. Okay, what if we have something that looks like this? All right, okay. So we can decompose it, okay? We could do like, I need to decompose it into right rectangular prisms. So I could decompose it this way, and I could have a 1 by 3 by 3. I could decompose it this way and have a 2 by 2 by 3, okay? Or I could decompose it this way. I could take it apart this way, and I could have a 3 by 5 and a 2 by 3. So think about all those things you could do with these cubes, right? Now let's look at the next thing I want to show us is some books, all right? What about books that we can use when we're teaching volume? One of the things that's in your building, anybody who had, and if you don't have somebody with it, if you'll just get in touch with Cindy Klish or get in touch with me, I'll be glad to help you out. In Common Core Math in Action, there's a mummy math lesson, and it deals with this book. And this book is about kids going to Egypt, and they're going with their parents, and they're exploring the pyramids, and they're looking at lots of solids. But one of the solids that they have, they're posed with a mystery, and they have to find a solid that has 6 congruent faces. So of course that's your cube. So you'll find this book, and the whole lesson is in this book, so you don't really have to reinvent the wheel. Another book that I love to use is this one, and it's also in your pacing guide, and it's called Perimeter, Area, and Volume, and it's a David Adler, and I love the way he's using the popcorn. He's got the popcorn boxes that are right rectangular prisms, and so some real life examples for you to use. Now, the last thing is, I know if some of you have some of your title money or whatever and you would like to order these cubes, this is how you order. And so this is the email address. And if you want just to get one class set, just to see how it goes, like say you've got only 2 people teaching math in your grade level in 5th grade, and you're gonna buy for $65, you're gonna get 1,000 cubes. And you're gonna put 40 in a bag. See, like this is my bag. Of course, I've got some of mine out, but I put 40 in a bag so that they're ready to hand out. I've got 25 bags, and so that I can use these cubes for all of these tasks and these explorations, okay? So I could get one for $65. And usually if you've got 2 teachers, you can afford a $65 item, and this item is never gonna wear out. You're gonna use it the rest of your teaching career. You can also, if you've got a bigger school, you can get 5,000 cubes, which would make 5 class sets for $212.50, all right? So anyway, think about this, and let me know if you have any questions, and enjoy teaching volume. This is for Unit 1 and also for Unit 9 in Murfreesboro City Schools Pacing Guide.